My name is Lee Boone, founder of Buckeye Financial LLC, and I've spent over 2 decades in financial services helping business owners protect what they built. And today I want to share a case study that stopped me in my tracks the first time I saw it. It involves one of the most sophisticated compensation strategies I've ever studied, hiding in plain sight inside a publicly documented university contract. Before I go any further, to my Ohio State family around the world, I need to ask your forgiveness in advance. This case study I'm about to walk you through involves a school I have never and will never root for. But what they did financially, we have to respect the strategy, even if we can't respect the program. Go Bucks. Now let's talk business. And for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, you're about to learn something that could change how you think about compensating and protecting your key employees. Regardless of which team you root for on Saturdays. One coach, one university, one financial tool. The highest paid college football coach in America wasn't created by a salary negotiation. There was no bidding war, no contract dispute between rival programs. What elevated this coach to the top of the compensation rankings was a financial structure that most business owners in this room have never heard of and fewer have actually used. I'm going to walk you through exactly what was done, why it worked, and how your business can use the same strategy. In 2016, the University of Michigan amended head football coach Jim Harbaugh's employment contract. Both Sports Illustrated and USA Today confirmed that this amendment made Harbaugh the highest paid college football coach in the country at the time. But the headline number, impressive as it was, wasn't the real story. The real story was how the compensation was structured, because they didn't just pay him more, they built something far more sophisticated and far more valuable. Instead of a traditional deferred compensation agreement, which is what most businesses use, Harbaugh and the university entered into what's called a split dollar loan agreement. Here's what that means in plain language. The university agreed to make 7 loan advances, $2 million each, totaling $14 million. Those funds were used by Harbaugh to pay premiums on a cash value life insurance policy held on his own life. This is not a rumor. This is not a projection. Every dollar amount, every term, every condition, contractually documented and a matter of public record. The university's own contract amendment is publicly available. Now, why does this matter to you? Stay with me. Let's look at what each side walked away with, because this is where it gets interesting. The university got 3 things. First, retention. Harbaugh was locked into a binding financial agreement. He's not going anywhere because walking away means consequences. Second, full investment recovery. When Harbaugh passes, the death benefit from the policy reimburses the university's entire $14 million investment. And third, asset protection. Every dollar they advanced is contractually secured. Now here's what the coach got. Tax advantage access to cash value through policy loans that are income tax free as long as the policy remains in force. A substantial death benefit for his family. and a guaranteed minimum residual benefit of $1.12 million after age 70. That's in the contract. Here's the important distinction I want to make clearly, because I believe in precision. The confirmed contractual terms are exactly what I just described. Any long-term distribution projections you may have seen in the press are financial analyst illustrations, not contractual guarantees. They assume various index performance scenarios. I'm going to tell you the facts, and I'm going to tell you what's illustrated. You deserve to know the difference. Now, this slide matters to me personally. In this industry, there's a lot of noise, a lot of people throwing big numbers around without telling you what's guaranteed and what's projected. I don't operate that way. Here's the line. Exactly. What is confirmed and documented, the split dollar loan agreement structure, 7 advances of $2 million each, premium funding for a cash value life insurance policy, the $1.12 million minimum death benefit after age 70, and the tax treatment framework under established split dollar negotiations. What is illustrated, potential long-term distribution projections. Those figures are based on financial analyst illustrations assuming various index performance scenarios. They are not contractual guarantees. That is standard across all IUL illustrations per industry regulations. I will always show you a compliant illustration. I will always tell you what's real and what's projected. That's the standard we operate by at Buckeye Financial. Now, let's talk about taxes, because this is where the strategy separates itself from everything else. A traditional salary or bonus, taxed as ordinary income, the IRS gets their cut first. This structure works differently. 3 layers of tax advantage working together. First, tax-deferred growth. The cash value inside the policy accumulates without being taxed every year. The index credits compound. The IRS doesn't touch it while it's growing. Second, tax-free access. Policy loans allow you to access the accumulated cash value without generating a 1099. No income tax, no bracket exposure, as long as the policy stays in force. Third, income tax-free death benefit. When the insured passes, the death benefit transfers to beneficiaries free of income tax under IRC Section 101A. The full value is preserved. 3 layers, 1 tool, the IRS, sidelined. Now, tax treatment is subject to individual circumstances, and I always recommend consulting your tax advisor. But the framework I just described is established tax law, not a loophole, codified law. Now, I want to make something very clear. The University of Michigan did not stumble into this. They engaged legal counsel, tax advisors, financial professionals. They architected a compensation solution with documented legal precedent and an established IRS regulatory framework. Split dollar arrangements are governed by IRS Notice 2001-10 and 2002-8 and Treasury Regulation Section 1.61-22. This is settled, codified tax law. The same tools available to a Big Ten university are available to the business sitting across from you today. Yours, whatever size, whatever industry. The question is not whether the tools exist. They do. The question is whether you know how to use them. Let me show you 3 ways your business specifically can put this strategy to work. The first is key man protection. If a critical owner or executive dies unexpectedly, the business receives a death benefit that covers lost revenue, recruiting cost, and operational disruption. For a small business, we're talking illustrative premiums in the $5,000 to $25,000 annual salary range for $1 to $5 million in coverage, subject to age, health, and underwriting, but that's the range. The second is executive compensation. You can build a supplemental retirement benefit for your top people, funded by the business, with no IRS contribution limits like a 401k. Illustrative range is $15,000 to $60,000 annual per executive. The third is what I call the golden handcuff. You structure a vesting schedule tied to continued employment. The executive earns access to the policy benefits over time. They stay, they benefit. They leave early, they don't. It's a retention tool with real financial teeth. Illustrative range of $20,000 to $75,000 annually, and the vesting terms are fully customizable. All 3 of these applications come from the same basic strategy Michigan used, scaled to your business. Now let me put real numbers on the board, clearly labeled as illustrative ranges based on standard underwriting assumptions. Small business, 1 to 10 employees, annual premium range of $10,000 to $25,000. Death benefit of $500,000 to $2 million. Primary use is key man protection. Tax advantage is tax deferred growth. Mid-sized business, 11 to 50 employees. Premium range of $25,000 to $75,000. Death benefit of $2 to $7 million. Primary use is executive comp plus retention. Tax advantage adds tax-free loan access. What about executive suite? C-suite level, premium range of $75,000 to $200,000 or more. Death benefit of $7 to $20 million plus. This is where the full split dollar framework comes into play. These are illustrations. Your actual numbers depend on the age and health of the insured and the specific policy design. What I can do is run those actual numbers for your situation at no cost in our strategy session. Now, let me show you exactly how the ownership splits. On the employer side, the business pays premiums through loan advances. The business retains a collateral assignment on the policy, and when the insured passes, the business receives a death benefit equal to the equal to the cumulative premiums advanced. On the employee side, the employee owns the policy. The cash value accumulates in their name. They access it through tax-free loans, and their family or estate receives the remaining death benefit after the employer is repaid. The IRS recognizes two approved regimens for split dollar: the economic benefit regimen and the loan regimen, which is what was used in the Harbaugh structure. Under the loan regimen, the premium advances are treated as loans, keeping them off the employee's W-2 and deferring any taxable event until the agreement concludes. This is not complicated once you see the diagram. Two parties, one policy, each benefiting according to the agreement. I want to close with a question. If a public university using public funds deployed $14 million in a structured insurance strategy to protect and compensate their most valuable asset, the question for every business owner in this room is simple. Who is your Jim Harbaugh? Who is the person in your business that if they walked out tomorrow or didn't show up Monday morning would change everything? Your revenue, your operations, your clients, your legacy. And what is that person worth to your business, your family, and everything you built? The tools are established. The regulations are clear. The strategy is documented. The only question is whether you act. Here's what I'm offering today: a complimentary business protection strategy session. 30 minutes, no obligation, no pressure. In that session, we'll do three things. First, a business needs analysis. We identify your key persons, your retention risk, your compensation gaps. Second, a structure illustration. I'll show you a compliant IUL illustration modeled specifically to your business size and goals. Third, an implementation roadmap. You leave with a clear, actionable next step. Spots are limited and reserved for business owners and CPA partners who are ready to take action. You can scan the QR code on the slide right now to book directly, or I'll personally follow up with you before you leave. If you're watching this, use the QR code. Thank you for your time. I'm happy to answer any questions, and see you soon.